Wanted to welcome you to our next person that we're going to be talking to. We have a city council candidate, Audrey Buffy Colvin. She will be running for city council district 2. Is that correct?
Correct.
She is knocking on doors, doing everything that she can to gain attention in the community. As you know, Alexander City Promise is a Facebook page that was put together to try and educate individuals as to what's going on in the city with council people, mayors. I want to remind you again that on August the 8th, they will be having a forum for the mayors. There's something in the works, from my understanding, that the Outlook is going to be doing for the city council people. Okay. A couple of days after that. And then, of course, the big election on August the 23rd. Asking everybody to go out and vote and kind of help get some vision going for Alexander City. As usual, our format is basically just a nice little conversation between me and you. And I always tell the individuals that are doing this, act as if the person that you're talking to is one of your constituents and you're knocking on their door trying to convince them. Got some just basic questions. I'll probably dig into a few things based upon some of your answers. Okay. But you ready to get started?
I'm ready. Of
course. Look at her. Look at that. All right. So I guess as you've been walking around, you know, you knock on that door and they come to the door. You give them that little 30-second spiel. I'm Audrey Buffy Colvin. I'm running for District 2 and I want to do this, this, and this. And the first question that they usually ask you is, why should I vote for you?
Well, I've been telling everybody that the reason why they should vote for me is because I'm a person who's going to be about being fair and is transparent for everybody. I think that one of the major problems we have at the moment is there is not, first of all, communication. So I can communicate with anybody. Second of all, we need to be fair in all endeavors that we do with the city. And I tell them that I'm going to be also a champion for you. If you need me, I'm going to be there. If you need me to stand up for you, then I'm going to stand up for you. And that's just really who Buffy is. I believe in helping anybody and everybody and standing up for everybody. So that's who I am, and that's what I've been telling everybody. I've also thrown in, hey, even if I don't win, it's all good, because whoever wins that district seat, I'm going to be in their ear saying, you know, I did get 35 votes, so you got to listen to me today.
These 35 folks listen to me, right? I got you. Well, you know, and a few people in your district have just heard Audrey Buffy Colvin. Now, you know, I would be wrong if I didn't point out many people in your district don't even know you by anything other than
Buffy.
So, you know, I wanted to point that out because a lot of people are like, who is this Audrey person?
Right.
All right. And tell us a little bit about your background and who Buffy is.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to tell you how I got Buffy. My mom and them wanted a Buffy and a Jody. If you old school, you know that's from Family Affair. I was supposed to be Buffy. Nathan was supposed to be Jody. Jody didn't stick, but Buffy did. Gotcha. So I'm Buffy. I don't even introduce
inside myself. Information, y'all. Just letting you know. And it's on tape now.
Hey, and I don't even introduce myself as Audrey. I normally say, hi, my name is Buffy. Because that's who I identify with, and I'm just Buffy. I've been, I'm the oldest child of 3. I have 2 younger brothers. Yes, they are younger brothers. They do not believe that, but they are. My mom is my best friend, and my dad died when I was 9. So she's my best friend, my mama, my sister. She's everything to me. And she's the person who's made me who I am, her and my grandmothers. I've lived in Alexander City off and on for the past 49 years. Yes, I'm 49, even though I don't look like that. But I've lived here off and on for the past 49 years. I've lived in New York. I lived in Atlanta. So came back home in 1990 because my mom was sick, and I had a little brother who is like 18 years younger than I am. So somebody had to come home and raise him. And since I'm the oldest and only girl, that's why I was back in Alex City plan was to be here for a year, then leave and go back to Atlanta. Didn't work out like that. So I've been here working since then. I've been employed at Russell Medical Center actually since 1990 as a full-time employee, but I actually started working there in 1986. Yes, 30 years ago. I know I don't look that old, but I am.
What do you do at Russell?
I'm a respiratory therapist, so I help people breathe.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Very important.
I mean,
'cause if you can't breathe,
okay,
and you want to see me when you can't breathe, because I'm gonna come in there and be real with you. First of all,
so we know a little bit about now. You've done a lot of community service.
Yes, lots of community.
Tell us a little bit about some of the community service.
I've served on the Relay for Life community for years. It's a big thing for us at the hospital because, I mean, cancer is a big, bad disease, and we'd love for anybody to have a cure tomorrow. So we always push Relay for Life. And it's near to my heart because I have so many family members who have died from cancer or is suffering with it, and friends. I'm also chairperson of an MLK celebration committee. We put on the parade every year, but we also do an awesome program every year. We also try to do things in the community to help other people. I'm also helping out with SWAG, the mentor group. They had a program tonight that I had to leave and come here for. I'm doing that as well. I'm also a mentor for other kids in the community. Anybody has any problems, come see Buffy. She'll take care of it. That's just me. That's also true in my family.
Okay. Well, now that they know a little bit about you, let's get down to the real questions of what's happening.
Okay.
Why are you running?
I'm running because at the moment, I do not see anybody in the council that's doing anything that I think is making our city better. I think we have resources and people here that Alex City should be growing, and I do not see growth. And if you're not seeing growth, where does the growth come from? It has to come from somewhere. So you have to start with looking at your mayor and your council positions. I'm not qualified to be your mayor, so therefore I would not think about running for that position. But I think I'm qualified to be your city councilwoman.
Well, a lot of people, and out of fairness, a lot of people talk about becoming mayor, talk about becoming a city council person, but what do you see that position of city council actually being? What do you know about that position?
First of all, city council and the mayor actually works to take care of the legislative ideas of what's going on in your city. They should be working on making sure that your infrastructure is in place and improved or up to date or whatever. They should be working on making sure that somebody is looking at how your finances or how your money is being handled. They should be making sure that we have what we need in place to grow the community. That's what the city council is about, trying to grow the community and make the community what it is and make it better.
Okay. Now, let's marry the two pieces together for a second.
Okay.
Your background, we've kind of heard a little bit about that, and we know that you know about the position itself. How is your background going to help you in that position?
First of all, I have a degree in computer science from Talladega College, and I'm about 4 hours shy of having a minor in accounting. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But what it is I'm able to sit back, look at anything. I'm fairly intelligent. So I'm able to look at a situation and look at it for what it is, not read into it, not make it what it is. Look at it, be fair and impartial, and do what's best for the people. That's what I think city council is. I can't walk in there and say, oh, I'm going to change downtown and it's going to be big and bright and we're going to do all this, because I only have one vote. But I can put my opinion in place about things that do come across the table and be fair. I'm civic minded, and I'm about making sure that Alex City is the best city that it can be.
Well, all righty.
All right.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the future.
Okay.
What is Buffy's vision for District 2 and for the city of Alexander City? If you were able to get into the position, what are you visualizing as being the possibilities for Alexander City?
I think possibilities for us. First of all, we need to be growing our community so that we're getting more jobs here. A lot of people are driving out of town for jobs. A lot of people are having to move for jobs. We need jobs here in Alex City that put people here. because a job or having a job is going to improve our financial outlook. If we can improve our financial outlook, then we can continue to thrive and get bigger and better. Okay, first of all. Second of all, we need to be doing more things for our children. Our children, our children. We don't have anything for our children to do. So the reason why a lot of children in my district end up in trouble, not going to school, is they don't have anything to do. We have a rec center, and we need more things there to help our children understand things that they can be doing to better their lives. We should be making sure that we put all we can into our children because they are our future. I see us doing things to show our children that we believe in them, and we want this to be the place that they can call home. Not only if you leave and go off to school, but you can come back home. Myself, when I went off to school, my plan was not to come back here, and I had to come back home. And I've made a wonderful life here in Alex City, and I think every child can, but they cannot if we don't have jobs, if we don't have anything for them to come back to. So I think we need that in place, and that's what I see. I see this thriving, making this a thriving city so that we have jobs, people have resources, so that we can do the things we need to do to continue to grow.
Okay. Well, you've pointed out several things, one of which I'd like to come back to if I don't forget in a few minutes, which is the youth piece for your district. But let me talk a little bit, since you brought up jobs, and it seems like you almost have this politician thing down pat, where it's jobs, 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 right? Tell me a little bit about what Buffy wants to potentially do for economic development.
I think economic development for me looks at us looking at businesses that would be a great fit for Alexander City and going after those businesses. You can't just say, oh, I'm a city and I need a job, I need somebody to bring their business here. You're going to have to go after those businesses. So you're going to have to court them. You're going to have to say, hey, we're here. We need you to look at us. I mean, you're going to have to do things to bring them here. Your presentation is what's going to get them here. How you treat them is what you're going to get here. The city council, along with our chamber of commerce, will be our assets that we need to pull people in and make sure that when we do get somebody here, we show them that we are, first of all, unified. Second of all, we can communicate with each other. If the mayor and the city council can't talk to each other, we can't communicate with each other, then they're gonna pick up on that. People are not gonna come here when they know, oh, they're having all kind of trouble over there in Alex City. We better not go there because we don't know what's gonna happen. We've got to make sure that we get an infrastructure not only for our roads, but we need a computer infrastructure. We need a networking infrastructure so that cities can come here and thrive. You can't have a computer infrastructure or a networking that is not up to date. People are going to come here and want to know, okay, we got the best network cable in the world, so I can put all I can on it and it's going to still work. So we've got to do those things first to make sure that those people come in and stay and realize that, yeah, we're about getting the jobs here, but we're going to make sure when you get here, we have what you need. We need to have classes in place. We have the junior college classes in place to train people so that they have people they can pull for them. If there isn't a workforce, why would I come here?
Do you consider yourself a big industry supporter, a little industry supporter that can grow, or a little mixture of both?
I'm a mixture of both, because I think big industry is good if you can pull that in, but a lot of times you may find a gym that's small that just needs a helping hand to get in and get started. I think that the incubator system in Montgomery is a great aspect of what they do downtown in Montgomery. They have an incubator and they say, okay, we'll lease this to you for a minimal price so you can get your business started, you can get your clientele up, and then once you're done, we'll let you move on to something bigger and better, and we'll put somebody else in this spot. You may need to start growing businesses so that you grow your economy, but if we don't grow them, then we're going to lose out.
Well, what is your take on some of our financial issues? How would Buffy sit in council and try and help to solve or better position the city financially?
The first thing we need to do as a city is we need to get a handle on what's going on. What is our finances? I mean, you don't know. Somebody reported that this is missing. Someone reported that it's not missing. You really don't know what's going on. So we need a true audit to come in. And I know it's difficult for an auditor to come in.
Before you go any further, let me ask a question. When you say audit, are you talking about a forensic audit or just a regular audit or both?
Both.
Okay.
Now, we need the forensic audit to figure out what has happened and what is going on. And you need an audit to figure out what people have been doing per se as it relates to general business.
Okay.
The forensic audit is going to look at where things have gone and that kind of stuff, looking, picking up on things that may have been misplaced. The problem, I think, now I'm not sure because I'm not privy, but I think the problem we're having with audits is that the auditors are having to come in, and instead of being an auditor, they're having to be an accountant. So it's kind of difficult for an auditor to walk in if your records ain't together. If you're trying to buy that Lexus and you got enough money to buy a Focus, your records ain't together. You got to look at your money first to know what you can go buy. So if you ain't keeping track of it, then we're in trouble. And I think that's the problem.
I think so far you have been the one person to explain that using cars.
Okay, well.
Okay, I'm just saying, if you didn't understand that, I'm sorry.
You got Focus money, you can't buy a Lexus.
There it is.
Just period.
What kind of a governing or leadership style do you say you have?
My leadership style will be open, first of all, and I'm going to be honest, fair, and transparent. And that's what I'm telling everybody. Like I said, I can't tell you a bunch of will-dos, but I can tell you. Buffy's going to be honest, it's going to be fair, and I'm going to let you know what I'm doing because I don't have anything to hide. As long as you're doing what's right, then there's nothing to hide. You can always be transparent. I'm going to be a leader who's going to stand up for our city. Whether I'm in District 2 or not, I'm still going to be a leader who's going to stand up and do what's right for the citizens of Alexander City, Alabama. Because this is where I live, this is where my family lives, and I want it to be the best that it can be. I'm not going to be the type of leader who's going to be, it's my way or no way. I don't believe in that because I believe I can learn from anybody and everybody. I don't mind you telling me, Buffy, you did that wrong today. Okay, thank you. I won't do it again. And especially if you come to me and tell me I did it wrong and you can explain to me why I did it wrong, I'm good with that. I can communicate with anybody. As to my job being a respiratory therapist at Russell Medical Center, I can talk to anybody in any shape, any form or fashion and not have a problem with them. That is just my personality. I get along with anybody and everybody. I don't think I have that many enemies.
That many?
I'm trying to think about it. It may be one or two out there who don't like me.
Now,
I'm sure there's somebody out there who don't like me.
The question that I would ask, you said transparent, and I like to key in on that because one of the things, obviously, is that we, would like to see you signed the promise, and one of the things that we like to see is communication and more transparency. Correct. Going into the next council group or whatever. How does that look with Buffy? I mean, what are some of the things that you like to see take place to make that happen?
I think that what is lost at the moment is nobody knows what's going on. So why not have a meeting every 2 to 3 months, every 3 months, every quarter? Say, okay, we're having city meetings. If you want to know what's going on, come out. We're just going to tell you it's a forum. We're going to tell you what's going on, what's happening, what's been going on, what our financial outlook is, where we're at, what we're trying to buy tomorrow, what we bought yesterday. Simple, to the point, period. If you don't want to send out monthly letters and tell everybody that, have a meeting every 3-4 months and tell somebody what's going on. I'm here in the city and I don't know a lot of things. If you have a job opening downtown, let the people know there's a job opening. I can't tell you when I've known there was a job opening downtown. And I don't think that's fair to people that live in this city. Everybody should have an opportunity to obtain a job if there is one open in the city. It shouldn't be because so-and-so knows so-and-so, so I'm going to hire her because she knows them. So I think that when you start doing those things, you put yourself up to fail. You set yourself up to fail because you're not allowing everybody to sit at the table. You got to let everybody sit at the table and have a conversation about it.
You walked into an interesting question when you said that you haven't seen job postings in the city. First of all, do you think that the city hall is diversified? And if so, what are you going to do to help walk down the path of getting it or staying where it is? And if you don't think that it's diversified, what do you see that you would like to see happen, and how would you like to see that happen where it becomes a little bit more diversified?
First of all, I don't think it's diversified. And I know they take the job openings and they post it in the little foyer in the walking into the door where you pay your utility bill. I know that. Well, I'm the type of person who I don't go inside and pay my bill. I'm either paying it online or I'm paying it in the little night deposit box. So I'm not in there looking at jobs. That's why I don't see them, first of all. So it's not diversified. I think that people are not given an opportunity. And so how do you obtain diversity? First of all, you've got to get your managers involved, and there needs to be classes on diversity. They need to understand what most people, when you say diversity to them, unless you are somebody such as myself who is, first of all, going to an African American or an HBCU, you know, you're taught those things. You're known. That's what you learn. You learn how to go out into the workforce and know that you're going to be a part of a situation where you may be the only one or a few of. So, you know, diversity is very important. Now, I can tell you at the hospital, we have diversity as a part of our every year education. You have to look at diversity. And people say, why do you need diversity? Well, you need diversity because culturally, how I've been raised and how you've been raised, we're totally different. You're not going to understand my beliefs. I'm not going to understand yours. That's the purpose of getting diversity. It takes diverse people to make the world go round. So we need to have diversity classes for our managers to start off with. Everybody needs to realize if you got a Facebook page for the city of Alexander City, it should be up to date. Job openings. The calendar should say, is it July? It should say July, not February. I mean, whoever is in charge of these things needs to be making sure that everything is placed out there for people to see. You can't only post a job listing there because you're actually setting it up so that people who don't go in that building don't have an opportunity to apply. And I'm not saying I want to apply for a job at the city. I'm saying, but there are people that do, but they don't know anything about job openings. So diversity is very important, and we need to diversify City Hall, because if you don't diversify City Hall, there looks like we have no unity in the city of Alexander City.
And once again, you've used a very good word, unity. So, do you see this city as being unified? And whether you do or not, what would you like to see take place to either keep it going or get it closer to being unified?
First of all, I do not see it as being unified, and that just really hurts me to my heart because it's 2016, and we should not, I believe, well, I guess if you think about it, we've only really been about 50 years ago was when we really got to the point that we were saying, okay, we're free, let's do this. But really and truly, I'm 49 years old. We should not in 2016 be having a conversation about unity, but we are, because my little city is not unified. And how do I know that? Well, I have been out and about knocking on doors. I've talked to people, and I've gone to different churches, and I can tell you one thing. Going to church over here and going to church over there is a totally different experience. But when you go to church over here, there's one race there. When you go to church over here, there's one race there. So if we ain't unified on Sunday morning, when everybody calling on the Lord, how are we going to be unified in the city?
Okay.
So maybe we need to start having unification breakfasts or something. A unification party today. Let's bring some people together. And I'm sure, you know, no matter where you go, I've lived in New York and had to deal with prejudiced people. I lived in Atlanta, had to deal with prejudiced people. I lived in Alex City and had to deal with prejudiced people. But how do you handle prejudices is showing people that we are all one race, human. Let's get to that first. We're all human.
So, you know, in the last few years, Alexander City, when it comes to the press, you know, there's an old saying, if it wasn't for bad press, we wouldn't have any press at all. Obviously, that has got to change.
Correct.
What would a Buffy being on Council 2 do to try and help change the public press and perception about Alexander City?
First of all, she'd be a smiling little old councilwoman. She'd always be on point. No, seriously. What I think that how do you combat negative press is you start to do positive things, positive actions. Stay away from the negativity. You need to be able to talk to your mayor. If you are Joe Blow from the counter on the store on the corner, you need to be able to talk to your mayor. So you definitely know anybody who is in city council needs to be able to talk to the mayor and the other council members. There should be an open door policy so that I can sit down and talk to anybody who's on that council and not have a problem with it. So my thing would be making sure that everybody realizes we all have different opinions. We don't have to fight about it. We don't have to be mad about it. All we got to do is continue to do what we're doing. If you can sit down with me and tell me why I'm wrong, and I'm like, oh, good, that's great. I did not realize that. We all have to be patient with each other. Learned that this weekend when I was at Victory Baptist. We need more patience. So maybe that's what we need to try to make this work.
You mean
for
one
us.
of those sermons finally broke through?
Hey, yeah, patient. We need to be more patient with ourselves, patient with God, and patient with everybody else. So hey, we need more patience with each other. We're not gonna all feel the same way. It's like being in a marriage. If one of us is following everybody, the one person around, somebody in pick. But everybody's going to have a different opinion. So we got to realize that and not get mad because my opinion is different from yours. Or my thought process is different from yours. And we got to stop thinking about it's about me. It's not about me. It's not about the mayor. It's not about council seat District 3 or District 4. It is about the entire city of Alexander City and everybody who resides within it. If we get those personal agendas out the way, I feel we'll be on track.
Well, last couple of questions. I'm sure you've had experience dealing with budgets.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about how you dealt with budgets in the past.
Of course, my household budget. But anyway, and mine is
it's a good budget to start with.
Yeah, mine, usually. My mama's, everybody's been a fan of. Anyway, yeah, that, and then I've dealt with budgets and dealing with my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority.
I was wondering when you were going to say that.
Yeah, okay. That's the purpose of the pink. Okay. Second, I've dealt with having a budget within our MLK committee, and I can tell you it's hard to have a budget and make a budget work, but a government budget needs to be in place. We need to have things in place so you know what you have, what you can't spend, what you bought yesterday. I mean, it's simple. You've got to be able to track that spending, know what's coming in, what's going out. There's no way to take care of a city and not have an idea of what's going on with your budget. A budget helps you determine how you're going to live for the next year. At work, at the hospital, I mean, we look at what are we doing every day as far as the budget. How are you spending your money? Are you wasting money? We try to do things that we can to limit waste so that we actually, on the backside of it, you limit waste so you actually increase your bottom line. So we've got to know or have a budget in place. That's about all I know about budgets. Was that enough?
That person is standing in the doorway right now.
Okay.
This is your last opportunity to get a pitch to them, and I want you to look into that camera, and whatever the last thing you want them to remember about Buffy is, go ahead and tell them.
My name is Buffy, and I am running for your City Council District 2. I'm not running it for any kind of reason other than to say that I'm going to be the best person to make sure that you have representation in the City Council. And remember, even if we don't get in, them 35 votes I get, going to be able to say, Buffy needs to talk to you today because I had 35 people who believed in me, so let's talk. So just remember, if you're looking for somebody to stand up for you, it's going to be Buffy. B-U-F-F-Y, Buffy.
And I can't say it any better than that. Audrey Buffy Colvin, she's running for Council District 2 in Alexander City. Remember, go out and vote on August the 23rd. Go to the forum on August the 8th. I understand that there's a council forum going to be a couple of days later after that. As soon as we get information on that, we'll post it on Alexander City Promise. But if nothing else, go out and vote. Stay tuned to this page for more interviews of more candidates for Alexander City. Have a great day.
Thank you, Joe.